All right, team, listen up. In the ICU, knowing when to pull the trigger on renal replacement therapy is everything. It's life or death. We're going rapid fire through the AEIOU crisis protocol. You need to know this cold, no hesitation.
Okay, RRT, what is it? It's a bridge. A life-saving bridge for when the kidneys have failed. The workhorse here is hemodialysis, and it all boils down to two core physical principles to get that blood clean. Two, that's it.
First up, diffusion. This is your toxin clearance. Think small solutes. We're pulling out the bad stuff, urea, potassium, by a simple concentration gradient. High in the blood, low in the dialysate. Done.
Next, convection, also known as ultrafiltration. This is pure fluid removal. We use a pressure gradient to literally squeeze the excess water out of the blood. This is how you manage fluid overload. Absolutely critical.
So, the emergency indications. How do you remember them under pressure? Simple. One powerful mnemonic you have to burn into your brain. AEIOU. Let's go through it.
A. Acidosis. Not just any acidosis. We're talking refractory metabolic acidosis, the kind that isn't responding to bicarb. The clock is ticking.
E. Electrolytes. Specifically, severe electrolyte shifts. The big one? Hyperkalemia. That dangerously high potassium that's going to cause lethal cardiac arrhythmias. Get it down now.
Intoxications. Some poisons and drugs, you can dialysize them right out. We're talking things like lithium or a massive salicylate toxicity from an aspirin overdose.
Overload, volume overload. The patient is drowning in their own fluid. It's backing up into the lungs, pulmonary edema. Dialysis pulls that fluid off and lets them breathe.
And uremia, the end-stage buildup of toxins. This isn't just numbers on a lab report. This is uremic encephalopathy messing with the brain or pericarditis inflaming the heart sac. Game over if you don't act.
That's the framework. Memorize it, burn it in, let's go.
Now, before we go any further, I need to be absolutely clear. This content is for educational purposes for international boards only. It is not medical advice. You must always consult official guidelines and a specialist physician for clinical decisions. Okay, so we've hammered the why with AEIOU. Now let's unpack the how. I've got Sarah here with me. Sarah, we've called the dialysis machine a mechanical nephron. When we break it down to diffusion versus convection, what's the key clinical distinction everyone needs to grasp?
It's all about the driver, Dr. Collins. Look, with diffusion, the engine is the concentration gradient. It's perfect for clearing out those small but deadly solutes, your ureas, your potassiums. But convection, that's all about the pressure gradient. That's a physical push. So if your patient is in florid pulmonary edema, you're not thinking about solutes first. You're thinking about pressure. You're using convection, ultrafiltration to get that water out of their lungs, period.
Exactly right. That's the clinical mindset. So let's circle back to AEIOU, but with that next level of detail. We've said A is for acidosis,
but the magic number, the one that should set off alarm bells, is a pH less than 7.1. For E, electrolytes. Don't just stare at the lab value. Look at the EKG. Are you seeing peaked T waves from that hyperkalemia? For O, overload, we're talking about that pulmonary edema that just won't budge with diuretics. And for U, uremia. It's when you see the clinical signs, the pericardial rub, the confusion from encephalopathy. That's the trigger. So Sarah, let's talk about I for intoxications. How do we remember which ones? For that, you use slime. It's another one you have to know. Salicylates, lithium, isopropanol, methanol, and ethylene glycol. Those are your classic dialyzable toxins. Slime.
That's a fantastic mnemonic. Okay, so we know dialysis is a powerful, life-saving tool, but it's not benign, right? Especially that very first run. There's a major complication we have to be vigilant for, and it's called dialysis disequilibrium syndrome, the brain swell.
Exactly. And this is pure physiology in action. It's what happens when we're too aggressive. When we pull urea out of the bloodstream too fast, the blood osmolarity drops quickly. But the brain can't keep up. It stays hyperosmolar for a bit too long.
And because of that osmotic gradient, that mismatch, water gets sucked from the blood right into the brain cells. That causes cerebral edema. That's the brain swell. And clinically, what do you see? Headaches, confusion, it can even progress to seizures. This is exactly why that first dialysis session is always run slower and more gently than all the ones that come after.
All right, time to lock this in. Let's run the mnemonic. We're going to solidify this so it's automatic. Ready?
A is acid.
7.1.
E is electrolytes.
Peaked T.
I is slime.
Lithium.
O is overload.
Lungs.
U is uremia.
Brain and heart.
And the golden rule?
First run is slow for the brain.
Okay, let's push this a step further with a question for you all. Think about this. You've got a long-term dialysis patient. They barely make any urine, if at all. Now they develop a massive kidney stone, a staghorn calculus. Why is managing that stone so incredibly difficult in this specific patient? Drop your clinical reasoning in the comments. Let's see what you think.
So let's bring it all home. What are the key takeaways? It's simple. First, know when to start dialysis in an emergency. That's your AEIOU mnemonic. And second, know how to start it safely, always keeping dialysis disequilibrium syndrome in mind. When and how. That's the game.
Excellent work. You've covered the critical framework. You understand the mechanical filter. Your mission now is to subscribe to Clinical Crash Course from Module M4.5, Renal Transplantation, the Immune Battle. Do it now.